Sam's good to see you. Coming to a place certainly where you've got to have one of your fondest memories, but now you're points leader in the Nationwide Series. That's got to be pretty fulfilling to be able to come here and have that too right now. But just talk about what this racetrack and this all means to you here at Indianapolis.
Well, I'm really excited about the opportunity to come and run tomorrow again in the Nationwide Series. Came just short of winning last year and having the opportunity to be the inaugural race winner, but had a 1-2 finish for Penske Racing. Much the same as last weekend. I was on the short end of that stick, but good weekend for the team, and to be able to take over the points lead. I mean, a lot of people told me, what are you more excited about, going to Indianapolis or having the points lead? And they're both the same. I'm really feel good about our opportunities. And I'm just kind of looking forward to the race starting. Last year, we weren't very good in practice, and I think we qualified like 14th, and we just had a good solid day and raced hard, and I was real happy with the way that it ended up for what we started out with. And it seems like we're back in that a little bit again this year, just not quite where we need to be for where the car needs to be. And we've got some work to do overnight, but I got a lot of faith in the guys that they'll do a good job. And as much as I want to win here, and would love to collect the bonus for Nationwide, but the thing that we need to continue to maintain and to focus on is the fact that we're out here trying to win a championship this year. And race wins are great, but at the end of the day, we have to be smart about it and make sure that we do all the things necessary to give ourselves the best opportunity to win the championship.
Very good. Questions for Sam? If you have one, raise your hand. We'll take this gentleman right here. State your name and who you're with, and we'll keep moving.
Spencer Grosvenor, CBS Sports 1430. Coming from last week and coming into second place, and then now you're coming back here to IMS. What does this do to your confidence level?
Well, I think we've had a good amount of confidence this year. Sometimes maybe a little bit overconfident in what we were going to be able to do, but I feel really good about the way that we ran last weekend. Even when we were behind in the points, people asked me if I was worried, and the way we were running, I didn't feel like there was any reason that we shouldn't be able to regain the points lead at some point in time, as long as we didn't have too much bad luck along the way. But we've had good race cars. The guys are working hard. We feel like there's still adjustments to be able to be made to make our team better. But we're not looking at like we need a 10% gain in any one spot. It's just that fine tuning of a percent or two here or there, a little bit better pit stops, a little bit better, race strategy, the driver, a little bit better feedback. It's just a bunch of little things. But, this is kind of a wild card race for us in a lot of ways, because we don't run any other tracks that really overlap with what we're going to experience here. If we went to Pocono, we would have something that was a little bit more similar, but this is really the only track that we run that's anywhere in this ballpark. So it does make it difficult to get, really figure out exactly where we need to be for Indianapolis. And, we got 2 practice sessions this morning that were done by, 11:30, and we started on the track at 8:30, and we were very, very free, and as soon as the sun peaked up over top of the grandstands, we went into being tight. It's just like that shows you how quick things can change around here. So we've got a lot of momentum going, and we feel great about what we're doing. But this is one of those weekends where we're not really sure, or coming into it, we weren't exactly sure where we were going to be on the competitive scale, and we've shown that we need it. Got a little bit of work to do yet.
Let's go over here to David.
David Caravella, NASCAR.com. Sam, I have 2. First of all, when you're here, how much are you reminded of '06, just in your own memories, and do fans come up to you, and is that sort of an overarching thing every time you're here?
It's definitely a lot going on, but one of the biggest things, I remember one time I came here, I can't remember what year it was, 2004 or 5, and I drove down from Ohio, and I had all my stuff in the car, and I left my hard card in my bag in the back of it, and I got down here to the tunnel. And, it wasn't like it was even, race day weekend. It was before the 500 started, and I came out of the tunnel, and the guy's like, I need to see your hard card. I'm like, it's in my suitcase. do I really need to go back there and dig through it? Oh, well, I'm not letting you go through. I need to see photo identification. And I wanted to be a smartass and tell him, walk out the tunnel and look up, because I was the previous series champion for the year, and they had a thing that was like 30 foot tall by 30 foot wide. And I had to end up going back and getting my hard card out of my thing. And yesterday I brought some parts down for the team because we tested in Toledo earlier this week, and I brought some of the stuff so that they didn't have to take it back to Charlotte, on their commercial flight and all that stuff. And I drove up to the thing and I said, my pass is in my motorhome, which I lied because I knew it wasn't. I knew I still had to go out there, but I was trying to get it to those guys before the garage closed. And then I pulled right up and basically into where the haulers were parked at so that we could unload it straight into the thing. But they know me now, so I mean they I shouldn't maybe say that because they'll think I'm trying to take advantage of them. But there's a lot of the yellow shirts that are really glad to see me. There's a lot of fans that have pictures. I signed a group of pictures for a guy earlier, and he had everything from the rookie race that I ran here, all the way, including about four, all the qualifying pictures plus like 4 or 5 from the day I won. I mean, it's great. And after that whole deal was over yesterday, I went and to get my pass in the office building over there, and one of my daughters goes, "Dad, is your picture ever up around here?" Because they had a lot of stuff from 11 and 12 and 13. I said, "Yeah," and we went over and I took them to the museum and showed them my face on the Borg Warner Trophy and some of the stuff up there, and they got a kick out of that. And I ranked real second to Bob Swikart's pink number 6 car that he ran in 1955. So they having 2 little girls, they like pink.
Just to follow that up real quick, I mean, you've won the biggest race this track has to offer. I mean, how can a nationwide victory compare to that in your mind?
It could compare real good. I mean, having the
$100,000.
If they had a foot race, around the place, anybody's going to want to win it. That's why I think that you always see how seriously the Cup guys take it, nationwide guys. Everybody wants to come to Indianapolis. Anybody that told you that they didn't dream of racing in Indianapolis growing up, no matter what they're in now as far as a racing form, they either didn't know about the Indy 500 because they lived under a rock, or they're lying to you if they say that they didn't. Because I know guys that you look at what it means to Tony Stewart, the hard work and effort that he put into it. You look at what Kurt Busch did this year, giving himself the opportunity to come and test a car and see if it's going to be something that he wants to do. I mean, whatever your pinnacle is, they're running at Indianapolis is definitely right up there for everybody.
Let's go to Dan and then Claire.
Dan Gales from the Associated Press. I guess just to follow up on that theme, I mean, does it feel the same, the prestige and all that coming here in a different series? Is it still just the track and it means the same no matter what, or does it feel a little different when you're in a stock car?
Well, I only get to feel it for about 3 days, as opposed to 3 weeks, what I used to go through. And, a lot of people, and it seems like I get the question more and more as time goes by, do you miss going to Indianapolis? Do you miss the 500? And I said, I never missed the 500. I watch it on TV. And eventually, when I get done racing, I'll go and I'll come back here and I'll be a fan just like I was, 25 years ago as a kid, and enjoying it that way. And the best part about it for me though now is the fact that I don't have all the stress that's involved with it, and it's difficult enough to come here for 3 days and think about it because I want to go out there and win. I mean, this means a lot to me, and I was disappointed, very disappointed after the race last year when we finished second. And everybody's like, "It's a great day, you should be really happy." I said, you guys don't understand now what it means to myself, and I know that you should understand what it means to Roger. And I came in about 3 months later, and there's a giant picture up on the back wall of Brad kissing the bricks, and I'm like, that's it right there. I mean, everybody that walks into this place, whether they work here, or they're a sponsor, or they're just a fan of Penske Racing, they're going to come in and they're going to see that giant picture back there, and that really shows just exactly what it means and how neat it is to be able to run here and to win races, and it being the inaugural race of any series here, it'd be awesome to be able to win. But I love coming here. I mean, there's tons of prestige, and I still get the same butterflies when I walk outside, for driver introductions and things like that.
Claire, and then to Dan.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Feel any extra pressure because you feel like this is Indianapolis? You want to win any race, like you said. It's huge for the Nationwide Series for you. But do you feel anything extra on your shoulders here?
Well, I know how awesome it is to be able to win here, and a lot of people, until you get that first feeling of what it's like to win in Indianapolis and to kiss the bricks, it's a tough thing for you to be able to explain to anybody. So there's always going to be pressure of coming here, no matter what I race. And man, it's a thrilling feeling to be able to come here to race, but it does make me, a little bit, nervous sometimes, because I know that given the opportunity to win or to think about, I can finish second here and pad the points lead. I might not make the right decision when it comes down to it tomorrow if I get myself in position to win this race, because I don't know how many of you remember the final lap of the 500 last year, and everybody's like, Sato, Takuma ran such a good race, and he gets on the end, he throws it away. I'm like, that's like that's exactly what I would have done given the opportunity, man. You got to drive it in there and try. Who cares? Second place, you don't get your picture on the trophy. There's no, bonus for doing that. There's, he gave it his all and crashed out trying to do it. But that's what it's all about.
Go ahead, Dan.
Dan Bridges, Indianapolis Recorder. Sam, did you talk to Kurt Busch much about the test he did before then or after? And also, if the right situation presented itself, could you see yourself in an IndyCar ever again?
I talked to Kurt for, 45 minutes to an hour on the phone. He called me up one day and wanted to know about, sitting in the car and differences between the Indy car and the stock car, and just a lot of little things about nuances, which everything that, a lot of the things that he asked me, I knew that he'd put a lot of thought into, and it wasn't it was kind of neat for me to be able to go through those things, because there were so many things that don't transfer over between a stock car and an Indy car. And I thought that I had a lot of fun actually explaining to him some of the things that I thought, felt, and had experienced running the Indy car here, and the differences between it, and the fact that he's ran here in a stock car as much as he has was a neat thing for me, because he's been around here a ton of laps, so it's not like he doesn't know how to do it, but it just showed how serious it is. He only went and did some practice this year, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see him go out and try to make it happen to where he actually runs Indianapolis 500 in the next couple of years. As far as me running an Indy car ever again, I don't know. Maybe in a vintage race or something. I don't see it coming. I still haven't. The reason I left is I did everything that I felt like I could accomplish, or way more than I ever wanted to, and I just felt like it was time to challenge myself again, and to have. And this challenge has really lived up to it. I'm not to the point where I feel that I've completed what my goals were at that point in time, and going back doesn't help me complete those goals. And plus, after having won the Indy 500, it would make it that would make it a lot easier for me to decide to go back if I hadn't ever won. But since I did, I have that feeling of that success, and I can just move forward from there.
Go ahead, sir.
1430 once again. This is a follow-up to his question and your answer. Considering that it might not be an immediate chance to be part of the IRL, just like the race, the Indy 500. Like, what if the IRL and NASCAR were able to pull some strings and do the 500 and Coco 600 again on the same day? Would that be a possibility of a challenge that you'd like to participate in?
At some point in time, I think that would be a neat goal to try to accomplish, just because, not too many people have even done that in general, but that's a tough task. There's a lot going on to be able to think about being able to do that. And, really, to be honest with you, I'd have to get back up in the Cup Series full time first before I would ever even consider doing both those, because, it would be nice to say that I did it, but I mean, I don't want to come down here and run in something that's not capable of winning and then fly 800 miles and then get in something else that's not capable of winning just to say that I did it. I mean, it would be difficult for me to try to bite off more than I can chew already with that. But who's to say what might happen in the future? And like I said, I get a lot of enjoyment out of watching the Indianapolis 500 anymore, just because of all the stress that I put on myself actually running it in the past. And I don't know that I could ever step back and figure out a way to not be that stressed out about it. I feel like a lot of years it was the month of May lasted all year long. Like if we didn't do well, I thought about it all the way for the next 11 months until we came back. And then, you maybe take a day off of thinking about it on Memorial Day, and then you start again.
Back over here to David.
Sam, what's your opinion on the prospect of lights at this place?
That'd be something. I mean, it's a lot of area to light up, and I don't know exactly how it would all pan out, but I guarantee it would probably make for a better Sprint Cup race here, just because generally when we come here, it's so hot. Sun's beating down on the track, makes everything slick. Having that opportunity, a lot of times when you run those night races, you just get cooler temperatures and more grip out of the car, more downforce, all that good stuff. And the more you usually get that, the more competitive the races seem to be. So I don't know if that's the cause of why people are speculating it, but that'd sure be neat to be able to be here for, because I remember flying over here about 5-6 years ago, and it's like the whole area is lit up around the speedway, and you could see the perfect outline of just utter blackness where the speedway was at, because there's not very many lights inside of it. So to think about the fact of how much it's really going to take to be able to light this place up, it's a big undertaking.
Any further questions? Back over here to Mike.
Mike Neff, frontstretch.com. Sam, I'm from the Indianapolis area, and I remember years back, guys that were running in the Indy cars would say that getting through the corners at 160 was far scarier than doing it at 180 or 190, because you developed the more downforce as you went faster. Does that translate to a stock car as well? If you go through at whatever it be 140 versus 170, is it a lot grippier?
I think that the 165 or whatever we're going through the corners right now puts more gray hairs on my head than some of the 230 mile an hour laps that I did here. And it's really I always liken it to the Indy cars with the higher amounts of grip and all the things that they had going for them in that direction. If you get out of shape, you wreck about 9 out of 10 times. These cars, you get out of shape and you save it 9 out of 10 times. But that just means you're out of control, or you're sliding around that many more laps. That's the toughest thing about making the switch from Indy cars over here, is that when I first went from Indy cars, I'm like, well, you can slide them around a lot more. You can get away with it. But it's understanding how much of that is okay, because you can't save it all the time. So you don't want to push it to that limit every single lap. And sometimes you get into that mindset of, well, it's always going to move around, so I can drive it that way, and you got to sometimes step back and to move it. But these cars, the stock cars, feel like you're going every bit as fast at the end of that straightaway as what you're doing in an Indy car, because you still have that same look of the corner and turn, and you know that you've got a 500-pound race car that's 2,000 pounds more than the Indy car, and you got about a quarter of the downforce.
Any more questions for Sam? Bruce, front row.
It's nice of you to make it, Bruce.
Thank you. Good to see you. How much would a victory here help solidify a foundation for a nationwide series championship?
It'd be awesome, but at the end of the day, we still got to really maintain on what's important. You know, we've shown how strong that we've been, and there's been a lot of races this year where we're really the only competition for the 22 and the 54. So I think that shows that you know, we're very deserving of winning the championship. We've ran extremely well, and with a couple issues of either putting ourselves in the back or having a piece of debris blow our oil pump apart, you know, we would be somewhere in the 50 to 60 points ahead range. You know, so that's things that people are going to fight. Everybody's going to fight from time to time, and I mean, I'd love racing here at Indianapolis, and I want to win this race more than anything. And at the end of the day tomorrow, if I'm put in a position where I have the opportunity, I'll have to keep reminding myself that we're here to race for points, but I don't know if I'll listen.